You know, while making the last couple of videos, it got me to thinking that what we might need to do as a fandom is provide an off-ramp for Disney, a guide, if you will, to help repair the franchise. And while I'm certainly not a large channel, I think that any amount of positive information put on YouTube can help get the ball rolling. So here are my top 5 things Disney must do to fix the franchise. Kathleen Kennedy has got to go. Look, I'm not a blindly hating fan. I understand what she's done for the film industry in the last 4 decades, but I think that we can all agree that Lucasfilm should be led by a visionary, and I just don't think that Kathleen Kennedy is one. Hell, she's probably one heck of a producer, but if there's one thing that producers don't do, it's create stories, and I think that this massive disconnect has proven to be awful for Disney Star Wars. Also, I think that there's just too much bad blood between the fandom and Kathy, and I just don't see it being repairable. So before anything else can get repaired, I really think she's got to go first. The next one is also a complete no-shit idea. The meta politics in Star Wars need to stop. I'm sure that there are some that are personally interested in watching a movie or a show that reflects current political issues in the Star Wars world, but most people aren't. I'm not interested in seeing a space Trump or space Biden. Just make Star Wars.
People I regard as radical ideologues whose viewpoint I do not share.
And before someone writes in the comments, George made the movies based off of Vietnam, and the prequels Palpatine is totally George W. Bush, I hear what you're saying, but the story is about the hero's journey first, and it's hardly revolutionary to make a story about a, well, revolution. George even said that the overall political story is about the big guy picking on the little guy, and that's a tale as old as time, so it's not the same thing. Which leads me to my next point. The hero's journey needs to take center stage. While there are a great many stories that someone can tell within the confines of the hero's journey, the problem is when the stories are written with the journey as an afterthought. When political pandering or making a girl boss show is your priority, then the property will fail every time. You'd think we'd have learned that lesson by now.
With all due respect, and remember, I'm saying with all due respect, that idea ain't worth a velvet painting of a whale and a dolphin getting it on.
So give us the hero's journey and proper storytelling again, and everything else will simply fall into place. It's really that simple. The next one is probably the most controversial for some, but people need to keep saying it. Disney's not-so-secret agenda is absolutely sickening. These movies and shows are for kids, and promoting these adult-themed beliefs to kids is downright grooming.
That escalated quickly.
These agendas and woke ideologies are ruining not just Star Wars, but all of Hollywood. Don't get me wrong, Star Wars is made for everyone, but not to showcase every belief. Star Wars is mostly for kids, so the woke crap needs to stop. As an honorable mention, I also want to point out that the content needs to slow down. It's too much and Disney needs to start focusing on quality and drastically slow down quantity. Too many pieces of content is really starting to muddy up the waters. And finally, as much as I'm sure it may never happen, the sequel trilogy, The Resistance, and any other story that refers to the sequel trilogy needs to be made legends. The more I think about it, the more I think that this one is non-negotiable. It might be unlikely as hell, but the truth is that Star Wars is very broken because of these movies.
Here's how the film ends. Ready? At the very end, Star Wars dies.
Outside of the visuals, they really aren't good in any way, and they are wildly disrespectful to the fans and of the old content. This may never happen, but every story that is told from Disney Star Wars will be leading in some way to the sequel trilogy, and that's just not ever going to be okay with most fans. There is also the option of taking the stories and jumping wildly into the future or in the past, and to try to tell some stories that have nothing to do with the Skywalkers, but I'm no longer convinced that this will fix things with the fans. The foundations are broken, and the only fix is to remove everything that's breaking it. Anyway, that's my take. I know not everyone is going to agree with me, but this is my opinion. Star Wars is broken, and in order to fix it, drastic things need to be done, or the franchise is doomed. Tell me what you think in the comments. What are your top 5 things that need to be changed in order to fix Star Wars? Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Afternoon delight.
You guys have it, I think.
Afternoon delight.